Learning and innovation skills. The 4 C's are critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and communication. Reasons for skills in learning and innovation. The 4 C's form an approach to each step to complete a task successfully. If you're producing or delivering something, either ideas or goods, you follow the same process. First decide what to make, create it, get input from others, and then send it out. The 4 C's can be applied to anything in order to get the most appropriate outcome. First you do the problem solving, then you do the solution delivery. We'll discuss each of the 4 C's by defining each of them and the approaches to consider the 4 C's. Ways of effectively doing the 4 C's will be presented, and then we will find improvement skills in each of the 4 C's, and in the end we'll practice a couple of the 4 C's. Critical thinking is the first. For a given problem to solve or a task to do, thinking involves considering and brainstorming. You need to decide what the task is and what the problem is about. Once you know what the problem is about, analyze case studies from before, like researching, and then reflect on what they're about. When you do critical thinking, you analyze, and then you interpret, and then you evaluate and solve. Critical means making choices about what is true from your own perspective. Ask questions. Why? Seek diverse perspectives and discover truths. You can look for patterns and draw logical conclusions and determine which information is worthwhile. You need to make questions about the assumptions. Creativity is the second of the 4 C's. Creativity means thinking in a way that other people don't. Creativity is unique to each situation. It's making a step-by-step process on your own without reverting back to the standard way. It takes innovation to be making groundbreaking discoveries, and that's a part of creativity. You connect the new ideas in new ways to be creative. It takes brainstorming and trying something you haven't done before with an open mind. All the ideas that you come up with must be useful to others in the end. How do you cultivate creativity? Embrace curiosity, keep an open mind, practice creativity often. Experiment without fear of failure. And when you get frustrated, take breaks for renewed perspective. Read widely and be exposed to many fields in order to get a worldly view of everything. That'll allow you to be creative in one area based on all of them. Creativity is finding a more efficient way to do something. It takes being willing to take risks, and inspiration can be all around you. You just need to seek it out. Everything you come up with is good. Don't dismiss any idea that might lead to something. Collaboration is the third of the 4 C's. Collaboration means working with others to accomplish a goal. You celebrate the contributions from all the team members. Be willing to adapt to another person's point of view. Value each of the diverse perspectives that is part of your team. Unite towards a successful outcome. You have to have a common goal for the team. Have mutual respect and trust, and share the purpose of the whole meeting with the entire team. And it's important to share responsibility equally so no one person gets bogged down with all the work. Collaboration creates synergy. When you define roles, people know what they're doing. You blend skills, knowledge, and effort together of all the group members, and that'll allow you to work together better. Communication. Why should you collaborate? It enhances motivation, fosters innovation, builds on everyone's strengths, It compensates for individual weaknesses that might be within the team. And how do you collaborate? First, define the roles clearly and what is the criteria for success. Encourage open communication between the team members without dismissing anyone's valid idea. It's necessary for each person to value the other's ideas and the support and adjustments that they suggest. Speak up for your own ideas, bring something unique to the group, do teamwork, and collaboration will work out all the wrinkles in the project to streamline the workflow. Communication is the final of the 4 C's. Communication is conveying ideas, listening, verbal, and written. Communication ensures meaning is heard and understood by everyone. Speak directly to an idea and check if others are engaged. Share your perspective calmly. You might have a lot of strong feelings about the idea that you've put a lot of time into it, but be calm all the time, because others might not share that. Strengthen relationship and navigate social interactions using communications. Communication is used to resolve disagreement, prevent understandings. It connects people together meaningfully. And it relates people with how they're in common, their commonalities. Here are some tips to improve communication. Practice active listening. Adapt to your audience. Use nonverbal cues. Practice empathy, being in that person's position. Be clear and concise. Minimize tangents. Don't get off the subject. How is a project done using the 4 C's of critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and communication? First, try to understand exactly what the problem and the goals are by thinking about it. Seek ideas from other people and published sources. That doesn't mean you need to take them, but seek them out in the original step of the plan. Verify which ideas can be applied and are realistic to make a plan. Okay, the second part involves being creative once you've got your information together. Start with brainstorming a solution to think of all the possibilities. Work out an answer from different viewpoints and methods. If one comes to a dead end, take another approach. Okay, the third part involves collaboration to meet others and draw their strengths to the problem. Break the problem into parts that others can work on and then reconvene with all the work to put it together. Be understanding of disagreements and embrace the work of the team. There will always be disagreements, so you need to adjust and work them out. And finally, communicate by gathering the best solution that satisfies the goal and present it for understanding. We can improve our use of critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and communication. Critical thinking is improved by practicing approaches and techniques to problems using logical analysis and doing hard problems successfully. Creativity is fostered by practicing being creative, being open-minded, and not rejecting ideas that are different in order to conform. Creativity is valued when ideas are made useful to others to solve a problem. Collaboration is enhanced when different viewpoints are valued. Stake is not put in your own work so much that it's hard to adapt to others. You might have put a lot of time and effort building up to something, but when you collaborate, you have to let that go and think about what the others have to input. Collaboration recognizes the struggles of teammates with empathy, understanding what they are going through. Put yourself in your team member's place and think about how they're working on the problem. Communication becomes more effective when the ideas are simplified to package and understanding by the audience is verified with each step. Here's a creativity activity. Tell about a time when you found a better way of doing something. Was the improvement shared with others and adopted into their practice? Does it seem easier to be creative for our own personal goal than within a group? And why? Here's a collaboration activity to identify another person's strengths. Think of someone you respect. Don't tell their name or relation to you. Tell the group 5 strengths that this person has. The second part is making a statement to a partner about something that's happened. The partner responds with a supportive statement. It's pretty simple. Here's a collaboration activity that works with people in groups of 2. Half the people will be person number 1 and half the people will be person number 2 that they pair up with. In this part, the first person is challenged. Number 1, state something you do frequently and feel comfortable with. The second person responds with, "That's not the way we do it here." Number 1 is supposed to reply with confidence and good reason. The second person says something in agreement with the reply. And number 1 finishes this out by telling how they feel about it and how to improve the dialogue. Now, person 2 is going to get the chance to be challenged. Person number 2 says, "I've been having a problem with something," and they describe the problem. Think of a problem you've had. Number 1 says, "Fix it yourself," or "Here's what you need to do." And then they proceed to list their opinion. That's not a good answer, though. Number 2 should transition smoothly, listing different methods or approaches you've thought to the problem. Seek guidance and approval from person number 1 for your alternative idea. Obviously, if the person has introduced the problem, they've been thinking about it a while, so they have a good idea of what's going on with that. Person number 1 is to observe how the person feels and support them. And finally, person number 2 explains how person number 1 has helped with the problem to get a solution. We've gone over the 4 C's and how they can be used for learning and innovation. The 4 C's are critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and communication. The terms are described as learning and innovation skills. Use and methods for improvement in the 4 C's were presented. The value for originating and delivering a project was given using the 4 C's. And finally, some activities to imagine creativity and collaboration were presented. That's the end.